Hey friends, Pastor Nicole here. So glad you clicked on to our midweek moment. This week we kicked off our new sermon series, Gleanings from Ruth, where we are reading through the book of Ruth, a chapter a week, and we're kind of going through verse by verse and learning as we go along. So there's lots of different things for us to talk about, but one in particular that I wanted to draw out has to do with when Naomi comes back to Bethlehem. And all of her friends are like, oh my goodness, is this Naomi? And she says, don't call me Naomi, call me Mara, because the Lord Almighty has made me bitter. And so she's kind of, in the sermon I said her grief is just kind of spilling out of her. She's so broken after losing her husband and her two sons. She is empty. She is just really in a space of deep, deep grief. And she has felt herself become bitter because of it. And so she asked everybody to call her Mara, which means bitter. But if you can keep reading the story, nobody ever calls her Mara. Nobody calls her bitter. They just keep calling her Naomi. And I think that there is something significant that has happened there. And I think what that is that while Naomi is in such a place of hurt and pain, her people are calling to her and calling her by her name, Naomi, because they can see in her what she can't see in herself, which is that things are going to get better. There is hope. That grief, while it sticks with us forever, will not always feel as heavy as it does right now. I think that's a really beautiful lesson for us, that sometimes we cannot see in ourselves something that other people can see in us. And that sometimes we need people in our lives to speak into our lives, to remind us of what we cannot see or what we have forgotten about ourselves. And sometimes that is, you are loved, or you are special, or you are kind, or you are a good person, or you are going to make it through this. Sometimes we need people in our lives to cheer us on, to remind us that even if we are in a really bitter place, we are not our bitterness. That's just how we're feeling. But we are who God created us to be. And so sometimes we need those people in our lives to speak that truth into our lives. And I really hope that you have people in your life that can speak that kind of truth to you. We talked a lot this weekend also about community and the importance of finding ourselves in community, of having people in our lives to live our life with, to have somebody that we can call when there's an emergency in the middle of the night. And we thought about who those people might be in our lives. And my guess is that those are the same people who will continue to call you by your name when you are feeling bitter, or when you're feeling down, or you're feeling depressed, or you're feeling lost. And that they can call your name and say, Nicole, Nicole, you may feel lost, but I know where you are. We need those kind of people in our lives. And so I think it's a really interesting thing that nobody ever calls Naomi Mara. They just keep calling her Naomi. They are loving her back to life. And we need those people in our lives. So this week, as you're going about your days, I hope that you will think about those people in your life that can call you by your name when you need them to, that can remind you of who you are and how wonderful you are and how beloved you are. So if you have those people in your life, maybe you should check in on them and just let them know that you're thinking about them and praying for them this week, and know that they will be there for you in return when you need it. So I hope you have a great rest of your week. Join us this next Sunday as we tackle chapter 2 of Ruth and see what happens for these two grieving widows when they find themselves back in Bethlehem. It's a good part of the story. So join us in person or online, and we'll see y'all soon. Bye.